Hello, friends. What we have here for you today is an RF-310M-HH. This is a multi-band VHF and UHF radio that goes from 30 megahertz all the way up to 512 megahertz. It is the civilian equivalent of the PRC 152. And I've had a number of these over the years, and this one, like so many others, is literally in brand new condition. Battery is not in brand new condition, but the radio itself really is never used. I can probably look in to see how many hours this reports as being up and how many hours of transmission. I doubt it's even a single hour of being transmitted. But unlike most of the other radios that I've had, this one didn't work. There was no RF out and no RF in. It was completely deaf and dumb. Finally, after about a year of hoping to get it on the bench, here it is on the bench. So the problem, I'll cut to the chase, but so I put this thing on a power meter, which I've got here, and it's through about 41 dB of attenuation. This is an HP 84, let's see if I can get that to focus, 8482A, which handles, I forget exactly what, but I think it's up to maybe 20 dB or something like that. I forget exactly the number. It's a couple of hundred, maybe 200-300 milliwatts. So I had to take it down with some attenuation. And in the setup here, you'll see that I've got it offset by 41 dB. So that way it'll read properly. It'll compensate for the attenuation and read as if it was actually connected directly to the radio. But we know that this little power meter is not capable of that. It'll get burnt up to a crisp. So what I found was I put this on the power meter is literally zero power is coming out, and because there was it was not receiving anything either. It was completely deaf. I figured it had to do something with the antenna. I'll also mention that it passed byte, so it thought it was able to at least put some power out. So anyway, I'm going to try to insert some pictures into this video. I've never done that before, so I hope it comes out right. The pictures of what happens when you take this thing apart. So I've taken the rear off. This is the rear of the radio. And this is the RF board. I'm not sure exactly if it's got a proper name, but it appears to be RF board. Maybe there's more than one RF board. I don't know. Maybe it's just the power amp board. It's got a lot of stuff on it, so I'm guessing it's got a lot of functions. And the way this whole thing worked was on the other side of this board, which I will try to show using a photograph. Because I don't want to take this apart at this time. There's a tiny little connector. So tiny that I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to focus this. This is an SMP connector. We've all heard of things like SMA, SMB, SMC. This is an SMP. It is very, very tiny. I'm trying to give you a comparison. Here's a little tiny screwdriver, or here's what appears to be maybe a 4 size screw, 440 types thing, and you can see it's about that. It's very, very, very small. And what that did is it connected the output of this board to the back of the antenna connector. The back of the antenna connector, again, sorry for that, was this also very, very tiny little thing, and screwed in right into the back. So I opened everything up. I'll try to put some pictures in, and this cable had no continuity, and so I knew that was the problem. Unfortunately, though, there also is a pin in the back of this that inserts into this tiny little hole here, and there was no way I could not align it properly. Nothing I could do. You'd figure it would self-align considering it's threaded, but I think this was actually part of the problem. I think that pin might have done something to this cable to cause it to no longer function. So long story short, this antenna connector is just not usable. And I tried unsuccessfully to remove it with vice grips. You can see some teeth marks, but it's really quite minor, and I think cosmetically it's easily overlooked. But what I did do then is I bought another cable with an SMP connector that connects to the back. I'll try to put some pictures of what this looks like. Connects into the tiny connector and adapts to SMA. And then from SMA, adapted to BNC, and then all the way through all of my attenuation and into the meter. So what we're going to do is we're going to power this up, and so the whole premise here was that the radio actually was functioning fine, and that it was a bad connection. Sorry, pardon my hand. It was a bad connection to the antenna port. And that bad connection to the antenna port was causing the radio to essentially, kind of be worth nothing, because it would not work. My contention was actually that the radio otherwise was absolutely fine, and I wanted to be able to prove it and get some power out. So what we're going to do here, you'll notice it's basically reading 0. Again, this is offset by 41 dB. So I'm going to key it up, and again, what you've got here is the output of the power amp is going to this little cable that's just squeezing through behind this board. Now you'll notice I don't have some screws in the top. I don't have it here. I don't have it here. I don't have it here. But I had to put a few in. I had to put a few in because there's a connector, an IDC connector that runs along this part here that had to get secured in. So the board is flexing just a wee bit, which is absolutely fine. In fact, there's no problem there at all. All right, so let's key it up and see what we get. Now I'm going to mostly look at the bottom half of this display that's showing in watts, microwatts now. Okay, keyed up, 6.27 watts, 34 dBm. Yeah, bingo, works very, very well. Key it up again, 6.27 watts, very, very, very consistent. So that's it. So the radio does in fact work absolutely fine. It is in nearly brand new condition. The only thing is, cosmetically now, is that has this tiny little imperfection here. See if I can get it to focus. It's very hard to get that to focus. Little imperfection in the metal of the antenna connector that I tried to remove the antenna connector, and I didn't want to force it, and I don't want to do any more damage to it. So this radio will be going up for sale. I'm not sure if I'll try to sell it privately or on eBay. I'll have to just make that decision. And somebody who the lucky winner is going to have to figure out how to possibly replace this connector, which I may be able to find a replacement. I just don't want to do the physical removal, and I'm afraid to make it worse. And I think the radio has some value as it is. So somebody can either figure out a way to connect an antenna to this cable and get it out through the back here, or maybe one option is probably to just drill out I don't know whether it's Delrin or whatever the insulator here is, drill it out and maybe poke this cable right through, or put your own cable or put your own connector in there. Maybe an SMA would fit in there. I think there are a lot of things you could do. So it's not a complete hopeless case. It's just going to require some creativity and some work that I'm not really willing to put in at this stage. So that's it. An as new radio. It must have come faulty this way from Harris, believe it or not. There's no other way that this could have occurred except right from the manufacturer. So that's it. Thanks for watching.